Hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, and your cartoon for today is another animal one. And you see this picture of some cows standing, or are they standing? Yes, standing together and chit-chatting and drinking some wine. Some are drinking some beer. Then you see the sheep in different little clusters doing the same thing. And I love this cow up here. His eyes are kind of like looking sideways like that. And then if you can look closely at the sheep in the middle, they look like a little worried or something. But anyway, the cowboys on the side say, "Well, what have I always said? Sheep and cattle just don't mix." So they're not mixing at their mixer. All right, today we have some vocabulary to go through. Page 45 are the straight definitions. So just attach the correct word to the exact definition that you have. And then you have a fill in the blank activity on page 46. But we're going to do some of this together. But before we do that, we're going to backtrack. We're going to go ahead and do our alphabetics review today because you have a lot tomorrow. So just so that everyone is not feeling a little bit overwhelmed, we're going to go ahead and do the alphabetics today. So I need everyone to turn back to page 30 with the list of your alphabetics. Okay, now I put all of mine in color-coded matching, but I've also put it on the suffix and prefix grid back here. So the first word on the list is acquiring. And on the pink, you've got the AC, the AC, and the ING. So on your big board, here's the acquiring. The next one is discouragement, and that also has both a prefix and suffix. The dis is right there, dis, and then discouragement. The mint is right there, discouragement. We're going to skip the next one. The next word that we're going to look at is miraculous. And that is, I don't think I marked it. Oh, yes, I did. Down here, the OUS, miraculous. Okay. The next word is musical. And the suffix on that one is the AL, the ol, musical, right up there. The next word has both a suffix and a prefix, undemonstrative. Undemonstrative. If we just say demonstrate, we say that straight, demonstrate. But when it's used as an adjective, which is what this is, it's demonstrative. So this is undemonstrative. A big word, but really you know it because you already know demonstrate. So you just connect the UN in the front of it and the IVE, which you know. So you can say this word, undemonstrative. So the un is right there, undemonstrative. It's right there. Okay, we're going to skip the next one. The next word on your list is uncertain. So again, there is the uncertain. The next word is pre-treat. Like sometimes when you're doing your laundry, you pre-treat it to get grass stains out. So the pre is right there. Pre-treat. The next word is conclude. Conclude. That's, you have a lot of cons in your vocabulary this week also. You have constraint and conduct, and here is conclude. So you know how to identify that prefix, con. So let me identify it. Where is the con? Oh, way up there. Conclude. The next word is careful, and the suffix is the ful, careful, right there. The next word is cheerleader, 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 and the er is up there. Okay, so just to review with everyone, why are we doing this? Why do we do alphabetics every week? It's so that you can identify and know, just as in part of your brain, all of the prefixes and suffixes that we cover. So even if you don't know a word, you are able to sound it out and say it. So that doesn't mean that you have to know all of the vocabulary first. If you can decode, if you can break apart this part of the sentence, like discouragement, you know, that's a pretty big word. But if you can break it apart and you know how to pronounce dis, and you know how to pronounce mint, then all you've got left is courage. So that's not as much. Or undemonstrative, the same thing. You know the word demonstrate because that was an old vocabulary word. So you know how to do the un and the tiv, so it's undemonstrative. So basically it's helping you read the words. Even if you don't know the vocab, what the definition is, you can read those words. And if you are not spending so much time concentrating on trying to sound out suffixes and prefixes, you can concentrate more on the major word. So for today, we're going to do something a little different. So I'm going to take, oh, and then I forgot to say, so the words that you really can't take out is battle, because if you take out the LE, and you know how to pronounce the ul, battle, and that's just bat. And then reason. If you take out the REA, then it's just sun, reason, okay? Kind of a lot like what we had last week with bottle and what was the other one? Person, I think. Okay. So, but we're going to do something different. We're going to take a few of these words. We're going to take the acquiring and what are the words? Conclude and careful. We're going to take these three words that you've done here, and we're going to use this prefix and suffix grid to create more words that you can just connect because you've got suffixes and prefixes down. You know how to do it. So we're going to do acquiring, and I'm going to turn the video off for just a second. I'm going to take off all of these little markers, and then we're going to make some new words with acquiring. Okay, so I'm going to pause it for a second. All right, so I took all of the little blue tabs off except for 3 of them. And we're going to look at how to do different things with acquiring. So I'm going to keep the ing for both of the new words that we're going to do. The root word is choir, not like a musical singing choir. But if we take off the AC, and then what happens as a prefix if we add the in? It becomes inquiring. All right. another one. What happens if we take off the AC and add the RE? It becomes requiring. Okay, so we're going to do another one just so that you can start to understand how you can decode any word. If you know the prefixes, if you know the suffixes, you can figure out the words. Even if you don't know the meaning, the definition, you know how to say them. Okay, so the next word we're going to do is the conclude. So let me pause it again to get that one ready. All right, the next word that we're going to look at is the conclude. Conclude. And I marked 4 prefixes. If you take out the CON, the prefix CON, I have tabs sticking to them. Take out the CON. What happens if we use the word IN, the prefix IN? Okay, it would, nope, I didn't pause it. All right, the next word in your alphabetics that you had was careful. And if we add the suffix ly to make it carefully, so that would be an adverb, right? Usually the adjective, you just add the ly to make the adverb. Not always, but a lot of times. So that's not too many, right? But what if we just used care? If we just used the root word care, what other words could we find using the root word care? So I'm going to pause it again to add some more. Okay, so with the word care, what happens if we add ing? If we add the suffix ing, then it becomes caring. What happens if we add the suffix s? Then it becomes cares. What happens if we add the suffix ed? Roll it way down here. Ed. Then it becomes cared. And then what happens if we add the suffix er? It becomes carer. Okay, so again, another 4 words that you're able to sound out or figure out, decode, just by changing the suffixes. So anyway, I hope that you are starting to feel comfortable with just knowing the suffixes and prefixes, and now kind of understanding that there are more words that you can identify and pronounce if you know the suffix and prefix. Okay, so that's it for the alphabetics. And I'll have to flip back to the right page to go over your vocabulary. So on page, before we do page 47, because we're not going to have time to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do your family words today. So the first one that we already did together was conduct. We did that on Monday, I think. So the next one that you have that we're going to work on is your vocabulary word contract. Okay, so there weren't a lot out there. There were 2 different adjectives. The first one is contractual. Contractual. So remember what I said about adjectives. Usually, if you add the ly to your adjective, it makes your adverb. So here's your adverb, contractually. And then I found another adjective, contractable. Like whatever it is that you're thinking about could be contractable. And then 2 nouns, contractibility, which means like it could be contractible, so the contractibility of that was high. And then the other one was contractor. And you know, that can be like if you hire a contractor to take care of putting a new roof on your house, you usually go through a contractor. So those are family words for contract. The next one, not too many at all, was the word previous. And all I could find is because previous is already an adjective, you add the ly for your adverb previously, and then previousness is the noun. So that's it for previous. And then we're going to do constraint together. Constraint. People have been asking me, I don't understand family words. I don't know how to find family words. And I understand that, because if you don't know the word, although you could get creative and you can use your prefix and suffix grid maybe to develop some of the words, especially if it's verbs. You know, you can always do the S for he contracts, she contracts, or she is contracting. You can use the ing or the ed, they contracted. You know that if it's a verb, you can always use the s, the ed, and the ing. But there are a lot of words that aren't verbs, like this one right here that we're fixing to do, constraint. So I told some students to do what I do a lot of times, and it's kind of fun. If we were in class, you would all have access to our big dictionaries, big thick dictionaries, but you don't. So I'm going to show you how to find the very same dictionary online. So I'm going to share. Okay, so if you just go to Google and you type in Merriam-Webster, which is I think one of the really good dictionaries, and that's actually the one that we use in class. If you go to that one, okay, so you see right up here, you can search any word. So we are going to type in the word constraint. So there you go. It gives you a definition of constraint. Let me move my little person down so I can find my. But if you go down, keep on going down, give you synonyms and antonyms for constraint. And then if you go all the way down, it will give you other words that are very close to constraint. Constrainedness, constrainingly, constrainment, there's constraint. And let's see if there's any more entries that we like. So let's look for constrain again. Okay. Look at all these. So we've got, I'm going to use my little highlighter because there's so much of these. Maybe I will. I am not, because I can't find it. Okay, so there's constrain, constrained, constrainedly, constrainedness, constraining, constrainingly, constrainment, constrains, constraint. So there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more words that are family words of constraint. So I'm going to stop that there. Then I'm going to pause so that I can put those onto the family tree. All right, so just straight from that list that we just looked at together, look at all these words that I found, right? They did all the hard work for me. I just have to look it up in the dictionary. Okay, so if you change this to the verb tenses, so constrain is the verb of constraint. He or she constrains. I guess I should hold it up to you instead of me. Constrain is the verb. He or she constrains. They are constraining. They constrained. And then there are two adverbs, constrainedly and constrainingly. And then two nouns, constrainedness and constrainment. Okay, so you know what constraint means, and so you can figure out all of these new words. You know how to use the suffixes of every single one of those words, and you know what this vocabulary words is, so you have 9 words on this page. All right, the next one that we're going to do together is legal, and the very same thing. We're going to go on to the Merriam-Webster dictionary on Google. Okay, so I'm going to type in the word legal. Okay, and just scroll all the way down. Other words from legal. You see that right there? Other words from legal. Synonyms and antonyms. Okay, sorry, I've got that little blue circle of death on here. So I'm going to click on the see more nearby entries. I don't want that. I don't know why that came up there. Oh, sorry, computer is slow. Okay, here we go. Look at all these words, man. Okay. And you would really have to be able to pick some of these out. I mean, there are many words that are attached, just separate words. Legal cap, legal capacity, legal duty, legal eagle. But here's one, legalese, legalism, legalist. Oh. What else have we got? Look at all this. Legalist, legalistic, legalistically, legalities, legality. To scroll back up. Legalization, legalize, legalized, legalizer, legalizing, legally. I think that's it. All the rest of them are just legated, legate, legatory, legation. So there are many, many words that can be attached to legal. And I'm not writing them down, but there's your list. So go ahead and go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary and add those family words into your quadrant. All right, and the last one is indicate, which is a verb. I love the verbs because you know that you can always use he or she indicates, they are indicating, or in the past we indicated. Okay? And the adjective, you don't pronounce it the same way, sort of like when we were saying demonstrate, but then it was demonstrative. This is the same way with the adjective indicative. Indicative. And then because that's an adjective, and if you attach the ly indicatively, I know it sounds hard, but really you've got all of it indicatively. And then two nouns, indication and indicators. All right, so I wanted to end with indicate because on page 47 with your fill in the blank activity, you really needed to be done with your family words because otherwise one of these, number 4, might have thrown you because it's not indicate, it is indication. So you have to do your family words. Number 4, indication. Because indicate is a verb, and you are looking for the subject of your sentence. And subjects of your sentences are always nouns, right? So you have to use the noun of indicate, which would be indication. So it says, one indication of a problem at work is that employees are absent more than usual. Okay. All right. And on the next page, page 49, I'm just going to go ahead with a couple of the true, false, and why sentences with you. So, which one did I use? Number 3. When scientists conduct research, they should do a careful analysis of the information they get. Isn't that so true? I mean, with this whole coronavirus pandemic, the work that scientists are doing is so critical, so important, so that we can get a vaccine, so that we know how to treat it. So to me, I put this one as a true, that it was very important that they should do careful analysis of their research. So my sentence is, scientists should carefully conduct research because it could impact people's health. Right? Isn't that so true right now? But you don't have to agree with me. You can give me another example and say false, and then just give me the reason why. Just remember that it needs to be complete sentences with capital letters starting at period at the end. Okay, and then the next one I did was number 6. I love this sentence. When you are driving, one way you indicate that you are going to turn is by honking your horn. So I hope you guys all know that that would be false. Don't honk your horn. Honking your horn is only if someone is fixing to back into you. But you don't honk your horn when you're just wanting to turn. So I put false. You can indicate you are going to turn by using your blinker, right? That's how we should do it. Okay, so I believe that that is all I'm going to help you with. And the next page, page 50, are the yes, no, and why questions. So remember, you can say yes, just give me your reason why. You can say no, give me your reason no. Now, I wanted to give a heads up about tomorrow. We are going to do our Zoom meetings again, and we're playing bingo. Yay! And it's going to be really fun, so I hope everyone can participate. I sent out one text already with the list of the irregular verbs. Remember, I told you that you needed to just plain memorize the irregular verbs. So I sent you out a list of the irregular verbs that we're going to use in the bingo. And then you're going to use your first 3 weeks of vocabulary. So I hope you haven't thrown away your first month book, because you're going to need those vocabulary words. Okay? So we're going to do a bingo game, and we're also going to do blackout. Let me explain that. But first, let me just give you the times. So the 9 a.m. class, you will go at 9:30. The 11:30 class goes at 12 noon. And then the 5:45 class, your Zoom meeting starts at 6 p.m. So I will send you the ID meeting number for that. And then we'll play bingo. And there will be prizes. So it's going to be fun. I hope everyone can join me. Now we're going to play bingo. I'm just going to diagram this, and it's going to be kind of rough. But let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So in bingo, if you get 5 across or 5 across this way, doesn't matter. But if you get 5 in a row, you yell bingo, right? Now, after we have done the bingo, then we're going to do blackout, where you fill out all of your card until all of the squares are blacked out, and it's called blackout. So, but that's my plan anyway. I don't know how long it's going to take. So please review your irregular verbs and have handy your first 3 weeks of vocabulary from your first month. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.